Hi guys, my name is Chloe and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down, whatever, anything helps. So today I'm going to be answering a question I get asked all the time. The question is right now, it's why are you growing out your undercut? So in this video, I'm going to go over the pros, the cons of an undercut, and why I'm growing mine out. So let's get right into the video. I'm going to talk you through every single stage of haircut that I had just to explain why I got what I got at the time. And I think that it'll help you understand why I'm growing it out. So I'm going to take you guys back to when I first got my haircut. When I first got my haircut, I did not have an undercut. And that is this cut right here. I loved it. It was beautiful, but I have a ton of hair. And so I got a stacked bob in the back. I kept on having flip out like on the back of my neck. My hair would just always flip out and it just didn't look good. Like it didn't hug my neck very well. It was very hard to like get a tiny straightener back there to like flat iron it. It just took so much longer to style my hair than I had anticipated. So I was like, okay, I want to grow that out and get an undercut so that the pieces on top are longer so that they hug my neck better. Takes out a lot of the bulk. So once my hair grew in, I got like a triangle undercut because the sides were longer. It was easier to do that. And I wanted to, you know, have it still be lived in. He did cut it about like a 1/2 inch long. So it wasn't like a full undercut yet because my hair wasn't fully grown out. And I'll show you a picture of that here. So then I was like, okay, well, I always part my hair on this side, so let's do something wispy right here. And that is where this haircut came into play. So I have like the side wispy by the ear, you know, and I still have that triangle undercut underneath. So then I decided to go a little bit shorter just on this one side and get more of an undercut on that side. And then I did like a huge triangle undercut, and I will show that picture here. So as you can tell, my hair is pretty short in the back and it's pretty short all around. And I'm still growing out like that stacked bob thing. I'm really wanting to get like the hair in the back really long to just make it easier for styling and for aesthetic reasons of like what I like on my face. So then I decided this side of my hair was pretty heavy and I wanted to get both undercuts on the side, but nothing was connected yet. So I still had that big triangle in the back and then the 2 undercuts on the side. That undercut really helped with this bulk over here, especially since my hair was so short. It kind of just looked more like a mushroom, you know, thing going on. Like it poofed out like this and then stayed like that. So taking out a lot of hair right there really helped my hair lay down closer to my face. So then my hair got a little longer, which I was really looking forward to. And I wanted to get a full undercut that was completely connected. And I had this style for probably a good 6 months. And I'll show you that here. So, one thing that I did do that I kind of regret is I went very high on this side of my undercut. So it was not even at all. So this side of my undercut was lower, this side was higher, so that when I did do like a top knot or something, it just wasn't, it didn't look cute. And I regretted going so high on this side. So I decided to grow a little bit out. The parts that I was growing out, I would just kind of use water and slick it back and tuck it behind my ear. I'm still growing those pieces out. Hair takes a long time to grow. So they're about this long now, which I mean, they were nothing. So that's a good year of growth. After I had my full undercut for a whole year and everything was connected, that was probably my favorite. And here is a huge pro to that, is because I was able to put my hair up in a ponytail. It didn't look cute in my opinion, but it was just easier to manage that way because my hair was a lot longer in the back. Styling was a breeze. It took me less than 5 minutes to style my hair because half of it was gone. I have super thick hair, so it was just really, really easy to style my hair. Yeah, so then I had this full undercut for a good while. I did go back to like a stacked look and I regretted doing that again. I should have learned from the first time. I just had gone a 1.5 years without having a stack, and I was like, I want a stacked look again. So I grew out my back undercut, which didn't take long at all, and then kept my sides and then did a stack look. And I was like, oh man, I want my undercut back. So I grew it back out. Anyways, long story that doesn't need to be told. So let's get into the pros and the cons of having an undercut. If you have a lot of hair, and you have a bob, I highly suggest an undercut. Now there's tons of different types of undercuts that you can do. You don't have to shave it. I've never gotten my undercut shaved. He's always done scissor over comb. I personally like that look better because it doesn't grow in sticking straight out. When you cut your hair with clippers, everything is cut uniform. So when it grows out, it sticks out for a while and then it lays down. When you cut your hair scissor over comb and you kind of texturize it all in there, still looks great, but everything is different lengths, so it lays down a lot easier. I've had a lot of complaints from ladies that go, well, I just use clippers and, you know, cut my hair myself and now everything's sticking out. How do you get it to lay down? It's like, well, I've never had that problem because he always did scissor over comb and it always laid down no matter what. So if you are getting an undercut, I highly suggest doing scissor over comb if you are a woman. And that is just because it's more feminine looking, it grows in easier, and it's kind of less upkeep. I didn't have to get my undercut cut for like 8 weeks, and that's just because it grew in super soft. I was able to just kind of like wisp it behind my ear and have like a little bit wisp in front. I'll show a picture of that here. So this is right before I got a trim. And it looks fine. It doesn't bug me. So that is just my one suggestion, is don't use clippers if you want it to be more feminine and have less maintenance. So a con to that would be it is a lot of maintenance and it is a lot of upkeep and you have to cut your hair all the time if you want to keep your undercuts. The back is pretty easy to maintain just because it's hidden most of the time, but the side is always shown if you have a side part. So if you want it to look short, you need to cut it a lot. Now, another pro to having the back undercut is if you sweat on your neck or if you get hot, this is amazing because it literally avoids so much heat for just sitting on your neck. You barely have any hair laying on your neck and there's so much undercut that it just feels great. Now, sometimes people get too much of an undercut in the back. I always suggest people getting about 1.5 to 2 inches cut in the back first. Try that out. See how you like it. If you want to go bigger, go bigger. Now you can do triangle, you can do straight. I always preferred like the straight up to my side cuts just because I did have the side cuts too. But honestly, it's preference, totally up to you. Some people get designs in it, which is cute. Those are a lot of upkeep though still. So it's honestly your own preference. There's so many different ways to do an undercut. Now for the side cuts, I love them for aesthetic reasons. I think that they're super cute. Now this side, having a side cut under here really helped with the bulk, which I really liked that. But I think in the beginning, again, like I said in the back, go shorter. Don't overdo it. I've seen some women who literally do that, like their part up here all the way to here, and then they regret it because that is so hard to grow back in. So it'll just stick straight up and you can't necessarily hide it with other hair. So I highly suggest going like right at your eyebrow level, starting there, and then go up to like where your temple is, you know, and doing right there. And I wouldn't go too far back. I don't know if you can still see mine, but that's kind of where mine was. It's just like right there. And then it would go down. I'll show a picture right here again of exactly how the side was, but I do suggest starting a lot smaller. Please start a lot smaller because you might regret doing so much and then it takes years to grow back. You can always go bigger later too. So like I did, I started smaller and then I went too high and I was like, ah, that's too much. And then, like I said, it's been a year of growth and my hair still isn't as long as I would like it to be. Now, let's talk about the grow out process. Now, the undercut in the back, super, super, super easy to grow out. I cannot express how easy that is to grow out. It takes about 2 to 3 months for me, having my hair super short. And the hair just keeps growing and then your hair grows longer. And I usually just keep trimming it until they meet. So it doesn't take long at all. My back is completely the same length now. That has been that way for a good 2 or 3 months now, and I started growing it out in November. So now for the sides. When it starts growing out, it's pretty easy just to keep tucking it behind your ear. There gets to a point where, you know, you have a little bit wisping out on your ear and then it gets long enough to where you can just tuck it behind and you might see some hairs back here poke out, but just put those down with water. Now, when your hair gets a little longer, I'll show you a little snippet from a video right here where I air dried my hair and it was just sticking out like crazy. And so every single time I do style my hair, I straighten my undercuts now. So they're long enough to just straighten, and I just do that so that they lay down so they don't get all crazy. And then I can just tuck most of it behind my ear. If I want a tiny bit sticking out, I can do that. I do like that look, but I can tuck it and it just stays back there and it's fine. This side, I can just do whatever. So it's just hanging out in front of my ear. No big deal. Nobody sees it. So it does take a really long time. And I have been growing out my undercut since November, 5 months. So this is the growth that I've had in 5 months. So I'm guessing I probably have another 6 months to go, 5 or 6 months to go before it's fully grown out. So I would say a total of a year for a full growth on your undercut. So beware, the sides take a really long time. If your hair's longer, it's going to take longer. But I do love it. I absolutely love it. A lot of people thought that I couldn't grow it out. They're like, oh, you'll get to a point where you're like 3 months in and you'll stop. And there have been times where like I look at pictures and I really do miss my undercut, but then most of the time I know my end goal. So I keep chugging along. So let's go to the reason why I'm growing out my undercut. I think I kind of touched on it a little bit here and there. So my side cuts, I got too excited about on this side. Wanted to grow out that top part. This got, I just wanted everything even. I felt like a lot of my pieces of my hair, especially on this side, were just all different lengths. And I was getting frustrated with styling because I had my growth up here that I'm trying to grow out still. And I just wanted it all to be like one length, not so textured anymore. So my end goal is to have a blunt bob. Crazy, I know. I've had very textured hair for a really long time with a whole bunch of different, I wouldn't call them layers, but there's like short pieces here, short pieces there. It's just really, really choppy textured, That's what I've been going for, is just that more edgier look. Now I kind of want to bring it back to the more feminine side, but still have that edge. So I want to have a blunt bob. Very different than what I've been doing. It's kind of weird how you can do a whole bunch of different things with short hair, but there's a lot of things you can do. So I want to just have everything be the same length, chop it, and let it go. So that is my goal, and I'll probably be there in like 6 months. I'm going to be patient through the process because that's what I really want. I want something different. I've had the same type of haircut for so long, and I still love my short hair. I don't know if I'll ever grow my hair out, but I just want it to just be all long and very blunt. Maybe a little tiny bit longer than this, maybe by 2 or 3 inches. And that's what I want. So that is my end goal. But for now, I hope that this video helped you kind of talk you through the process of some pros and some cons of getting an undercut, the different varieties of undercuts, and the possibilities are endless. And if you want to grow out your undercut, it's not as intimidating as it seems. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.